are watching this. Here we go. All right. I was like, where are we at? All right, there we go. That was a technology issue. I am Barbara Carr with Fuse Empire, and we are live. I'm here with my friend Destini Copp, and we're going to talk about some fun stuff today. So let's get into the basics of everything. You are watching season 2, episode 7. And as I mentioned, I'm here with Dr. Destini Copp, and her company name is Destini Copp, LLC. She has got so much information to share with us, but we're mostly going to be talking today about 5 simple steps to create your revenue generating online course. So if you're watching this or listening to it and you've been telling yourself for who knows how long, I should really create a course, or I should put my content online, or it'd be really cool if people could access my information from anywhere. Well, if any of that was thoughts that have gone on in your mind, this show is going to be valuable to you, because Destini is going to give us 5 super simple steps, and then she'll even give you some resources so that you can make this much, much easier on yourself as you take this move. Destini, I'm going to give you a moment to just say a quick hi before we move on to some more fun stuff.
Thank you so much for having me today. I'm so excited about this topic and talking about online courses. Honestly, I could talk about online courses and marketing all day long. So super excited to be here with you today, Barbara.
Thank you so much. All right, you guys, we're going to do something new right now. I call this brag time, and I just came up with this idea in between the last 2 shows. And as you can see it, for those of you who are watching this on video, brag stands for Barbara's Random Acknowledgement of Greatness. So every show, I want to just brag about somebody randomly, and that person will not get a heads up that I'm bragging about them. So if you know this person, I recommend you tag them in this video so they can see that somebody's bragging about them. So today's brag time acknowledgement is my friend 𝗗𝗘𝗦𝗣𝗣, because she gifted me this beautiful, beautiful purple coffee mug. And those of you who know me know that I love coffee and tea, and I just love to use a mug. I like how it fits in my hand. This is a nice big one. It keeps my hand warm. And so I just want to say, Kelly, you are super awesome, and I thank you for this gift. I use it regularly already, as you can see. So speaking of which, since I just threw my mug out there, a lot of people like to guess what I'm drinking. So if you want to guess what's in my coffee mug today, go ahead and put it in the comments. And we are going to move on, but I want to give you a teaser that there will be a chance to win $50 cash during this episode. So make sure that you pay attention later to how you can win that money. I see that we have about 8 people watching so far at the beginning of our show. So if you are one of those people watching, please put a chat and say hello. I see we have a couple hellos in the chat already. So please say hello to us in the chat, and remember that it is okay to ask questions. Destini is full of answers. So if you have a question as we go, don't be shy to put a question in there. And if you're watching this as a replay or listening to it on the podcast, don't worry. We will get you Destini's contact information before we get off the call so that you can reach out to her if you have further questions. All right. With that said, I want to tell you a little bit about Destini. So Dr. Destini Copp, she helps entrepreneurs and experts to create and sell online courses. She's obsessed with marketing and sales funnel conversions. She's great at helping people attract leads and to nurture them at each stage. And she has these really cool time-saving templates, swipe files, and all kinds of resources that will help you to grow your online business. So Dr. Destini Copp is a marketing consultant with more than 25 years of experience in marketing and online education. And she is the host of the Course Creators MBA podcast. We'll talk more about that later in the show. More than 3,700 online entrepreneurs use her time-saving templates, her swipe files, and her marketing training to help them grow their online course business. Her agency helps to drive purposeful growth for online businesses. She's obsessed with marketing and sales funnels, and she really loves to help people. As you will notice when we get into this call, she is passionate about anything marketing related.
Yeah, definitely ask me anything marketing related.
Yeah, so if you have any question, even if it's not about online courses,
Yep.
because that's what we're going to focus mostly on today, but any of that stuff you heard us talk about or any other marketing, if you have a question, don't be shy about putting it in the chat. But today we're going to talk about online courses. And specifically right now, we're in the era of COVID. So if you don't already have an online course, this is a great time to create one. And if you do already have one, maybe this will help you fine tune that. So we're going to talk about some of the benefits of creating your online course and the exact step-by-step process to doing that. So Destini, before we go into the steps, tell us why we should have an online course and what are those benefits?
So I'll give you some stories of people who have kind of gotten into online courses, some of them accidentally. But, you know, the thing about it is everybody has knowledge within them that they can share with the world. I don't care who you are. It could be a mom at home. It could be, a teacher, right? A teacher who maybe wants to help people with, preparing for the SAT or teaching English, or it could be a music teacher who wants to, teach people how to play a musical instrument. I mean, there's a lot of different people out there who can benefit from your knowledge. So I just want you to keep that in the back of your mind as we talk about online courses today. And the other thing I want you to also think about, a lot of people, when they think about an online course, and the whole world, right, has gotten exposed or has been exposed to online learning this past year. A lot of us got thrown into that and helping our kids learn online. So when you think about an online course and one that you would sell and make money on monetarily, think about this. Think about anybody who wants to learn something. It could be, like I mentioned, somebody who wants to learn a musical instrument, somebody who wants to learn how to play chess, somebody who wants to learn how to knit a sweater or knit a hat, or somebody who wants just to be more organized in their house. Those are all examples of online courses that people can build and sell.
Awesome. And so we put out a cool little graphic for you guys on my page and some of the other pages with some of these benefits to why you should be creating an online course. And I want to give a shout out to my awesome team member, Amber, for being the creator of that little, the little graphic. And thank you, Destini, for giving us the information to put in there. So, so we're already getting some chats, some stuff going on in the chat. So Tim from Hometown Happening says, it's so great that you're doing this series and offering this information. So we got some people excited already. Don't forget to put something in the chat so we know you're here. I see that our numbers keep increasing, but we're only getting a few comments so far, but that's all right. Let's move on now to the steps. So Destini, go ahead and tell us, what is the first step to creating this online course?
So a lot of people, let's just say they're thinking about it. I'll use a teacher as an example, because there are a lot of teachers are used to teaching. So that, having an online course is natural for them because they've been working with students. So let's just say you're a teacher and you help kids code. That's kind of your skill set, and that's what you want to do. A lot of people would think, oh, the first thing I need to do is to build the course. So they go out and they start, doing some research and figuring out, maybe I need to do some videos to teach these kids how to build this course. Actually, that's not the first thing you need to do. If you want to make this a business and monetize it, the first thing you need to do is build your audience. Okay. So this could be as simple as creating a simple landing page, creating a lead magnet, like a free gift, something that you would offer somebody who's interested in, what you are going to be selling or what you want to sell. So using the example of the teacher who teaches kids how to code, and they actually do that at my kids' school. So that's kind of why it came to my mind. So this teacher wants to teach kids how to code. One of the things they could do is put together a quick video with a how-to type document, like a how-to PDF, and, offer it up on this landing page. So that would be one way to build their audience, right? They can offer that up as a free gift, and they would collect those email addresses. Also, setting up your social media presence would be another step to how build your audience. And the reason why building your audience is so important is a couple of things. This will give you somebody to sell to when you're ready to sell what you've actually built. Because if you don't have anybody to sell to, quite frankly, nobody's going to buy, right? It also gives you an opportunity to get feedback from this audience. Even if it's just a handful of people that you can go out and talk to get feedback and ask them questions on what exactly do they want. You can say, I'm thinking about creating X, Y, and Z, and you can ask them additional questions to really understand if you're right on track. So building your audience is the first step.
And so when you talk about building your audience, is there a certain number of people that we should have where we're like, okay, we've completed step one, we've reached this number?
That is a great question. And I wouldn't say that there's a hard and fast number there. I have had clients that have launched, they've built their course and they've sold it with a very, very small audience. Now, they had a very targeted audience, people who were definitely interested in what they had, but it was under 500 people on their email list. So I would say it was a very, very small audience. It definitely wasn't tens of thousands of people. So this is not a long process, but you do need to have people to actually sell to and interact with.
Yeah. So, that's a great point, because actually I have a comment here from a user. I'm going to put it up on the screen. And this comment says, fascinated to know the steps to be of service. Now, you'll notice if you're watching this in video form that the person's name says Facebook user. And the reason it says Facebook user instead of that person's name is because this comment came from our private Facebook group. So it can't say the person's name. If you are the person, you could share your name when you type it. Just put your name after the comment if you're typing in the private Facebook group. If you're anywhere else, like on any of the Facebook pages that are public and on YouTube and on my profile, it will show your name on all of those areas. But this is a great example, Destini, because in this Facebook group, I have about 150 people, and the group is called Tools, Tips, and Training to Grow Your Business. So it is my target audience of people who want what I have to offer.
That is an absolute perfect example. And launching a private free Facebook group for, to build your audience of people that are your ideal customers is one of the best ways to build that audience and grow that audience, especially when you're just starting out. Highly recommend it.
So after somebody builds their audience in whatever fashion that looks like for them, what is our next step?
So the next step is they need to figure out what kind of course they want to build, right? Now, a lot of folks, when they first start in this journey, I won't say a lot. Some people, when they first start in this journey, they have a very clear understanding of what they want to teach. Like going back to the teacher example that I had, right? That teacher teaches coding. They know they want to teach kids coding. They're going to build their audience, and they may make some tweaks here and there to what they're going to offer, but they have a very clear understanding of, I want to offer this type of course. That's not very clear to a lot of people, right? They know that, let's just say that they know that they want to help stay-at-home moms, and they know that they want to help them, organize their house. And I'm kind of just throwing this out there as a possible example, right? Yeah. But, organizing your house, that's a huge, there could be a lot of different courses that they could create on that. So that would be one of the first steps, is talking to your audience, surveying your audience. I prefer actually, doing like a Zoom call with them and talking with them and kind of doing that face to face, if you would, and asking some questions and really understanding what their pain points are and how you can help them. That's going to help drive what kind of course that you would want to build. And if I could take a little bit of a tangent here, I hope this is okay, Barbara.
Yeah,
there are
Destiny, before you take a tangent,
Yep.
I want to just encourage people that if you think you have a course topic in mind, put it in the comments, and Destiny can see those and she could give you some feedback on it. So put your course topic in the comments while she goes on this tangent.
I'm very happy to comment on that. Then the kind of the tangent I wanted to take was to clarify or talk about the 3 different kind of courses that you can build, because I think this is very pertinent to understanding and kind of deciding on your course topic. There are the three main types. The first is a mini course. So think about a mini course is giving your ideal customer kind of a quick win. Is something that you could either sell off a Facebook ad. It might be a low cost type product. It might be, something that you charge for like $27 or $47 or, somewhere in that price range. It's just a mini course. You're going to give them a quick win. You could even use it as a tripwire, and we can go into details about that if anybody has questions on that. But that's what a mini course is. A subject matter course is a little bit more in-depth. So you're going deeper into the subject. So think about it like a subject in college, right? Let's just say you wanted to dig deep on maybe marketing, if you would. So it's more going deeper into that subject matter. On the other hand, a signature course is, that is everything. You're really putting all of your knowledge into that course. It could be like the whole MBA program, if you would. The subject matter course is like a subject in the MBA program, but the signature course is everything. You're really going in depth in that. And I like for people who are just starting out, I like for them to start with that mini course. And there's a couple of reasons for that. It really you as the person who's creating the course, it allows you to kind of dip your toes into online course creation. It can give you some quick revenue because a mini course you can create a lot faster than a signature course. I mean, a signature course I've heard of people, that can take 6 months or a year to create, whereas a mini course, you can create it fairly quickly. And the other thing is, going back to my comment earlier, you can, turn that mini course into like a tripwire. So if you were given, let's just say you have a free gift that you're giving away, like a lead magnet, people call it different things. On the thank you page, what somebody signs up on the thank you page, you can have your sales page for that mini course and just say, wait, before you go, I have a special offer that you may be interested in. And that's why I like to suggest that people start with that mini course.
That's a fantastic idea. And so we do have some comments in the chat. I think you can see them on your screen too, Destiny, but I'm going to go ahead and put one of them up on the screen. This one comes from John Hackett, who is using the private Facebook group. He's one of the members in there. And so his topic, he says, leadership communication, listen, ask, learn. Destiny, you have enough information with that to give feedback.
I think that's a great course. I don't know a lot about the ideal audience there or who he is, intending for that course. So I'll make some assumptions. So let's just assume that he is interested in creating this course for middle managers, right? People who are kind of, going up, they're climbing the corporate ladder. They need to develop their leadership skills, and, they need to learn some more of those communication or listening type skills. You could absolutely create a course around that and sell it to that target market.
Awesome. All right. If anyone else has questions or your topic you'd like to throw out there, put it in here. But other than that, we are going to move on to the next step in creating our course. So I think that brings us to step number 3, right?
Yes. So looking at my notes, so the next step would be creating the course outline. And this step is actually one of my fun steps. I actually like doing this. And there's a lot of different ways that you can create your course outline. Some people like to get a stack of Post-it notes and kind of put them on the wall and kind of move things around and, figure out where they want things to go. And quite frankly, creating the outline for your online course is a lot like creating, an outline for a book or, other types of, projects that you're working on. So think about it that way. Think about it like a book outline, and you can put your Post-it notes and move things around. Some people like to use a mind map to kind of look at and figure out how to create their course outline or how they want to outline their course. Some people just like to use Google Docs, and they just simply kind of create their outline that way. Very simple to create a course outline. The other point that I want to make, or kind of the tip, if I would, of when you're thinking about your course outline, in addition to outlining all of your different lessons, also think about what supplemental materials you need so that your student can get that transformation that you're promising. So for instance, let's just say, one of the steps in your course, going back to that coding example, and I'm not a coder, I'm not a teacher or anything like that, but let's assume that, one of the steps you're going to teach them how to write a particular code. Maybe you need a workbook that also goes along with that walks them through the steps also. So think about what supplemental materials you need for your course outline and put those in there so you know that you need to create them.
Oh, this is great because, Destini, I actually have been working on what I call a roadmap. And there are so many different courses in there, modules. And that is one of the things, like in my Excel spreadsheet, I'm like, one of the columns is material, right? Like, what do I need to create? Some of it's a PDF. Sometimes it's a cheat sheet or, something like that, or a checklist. But you're right. It's good to know that beforehand, because there have been times that I would be teaching and then I'd say, I should create a PDF for that, or I should create a form for that for you guys. And so it would be great to know that before you actually teach it, so that you could already have it ready and say, access to this form is right here, or download this, or it's so much better when you already have it pre-planned.
Absolutely. And just, when you're doing your course outline, and you're not going to get everything right, let's just face it. I will say that every 6 months to a year, I go back to my courses that I've already created, and I have a lot of them, and I go through them and I review them. I'm like, do I need to update this? So just because you don't get everything perfect in the beginning, just know that you're always going to go back to that course and make any updates.
Right. And Destini, is it best to just start with one course rather than trying to do 3 courses at one time?
So I kind of going back to what I said earlier, I love it when people start with that one mini course, because and the reason why I say this is I made this mistake myself. I tried from the beginning, I tried creating that signature course, that $2,000 signature course group, had group coaching in it also. And, at the end of the day, that was one of the mistakes that I made in the beginning. I felt like I should have started with some of these mini type courses. Quite frankly, that's what my audience wanted, when it came down to it. So I ended up creating them anyway, and it would have been a lot easier for me to get up and running. So did I answer your question? Now I'm like losing.
And I have another question too. And so the next question is, when you create your course, and even if you come up with the one that you're like, yes, this is like my best course or my favorite course, and you continue to create courses. So I guess the question goes into, are you still creating courses even though you have so many out there that's available?
Right now, I am not creating any additional courses. I'm more focused on optimizing my sales funnels for the courses that I have out there. In one of the reasons why I don't want to create another course is because you got to, in addition to the course, what is a large part of that is all the marketing pieces. So the sales funnel for that course, and, you know, the sales page for, the lead magnet for, the emails for, driving traffic to it. You know, a lot of my courses tie into each other. So traffic, you know, they can kind of build upon it that way. But there's more than just creating the course. And I'm at the point in my personal business, and I'm glad you asked that question, but in my personal business, I'm at the point that I need to be focused more on optimizing my sales funnels, not creating additional courses.
I love that answer because and I like how you also said in your particular business, right? Because I don't think there is a cookie cutter answer for any of that because it depends where you are in your business. But I do know that you have a lot of resources and courses already out there. And if anybody is wondering about that, we'll give you the link to that here in a little bit. Okay. But let's go ahead and move on to the next one, step 4.
So the next step is creating your teaching materials. So you've done your outline. So the next step is you want to create your lessons, right? And for many of us, this is going to be creating your PowerPoints or maybe Google Slides, or, you know, creating them in Canva. I'm a big fan of using Canva for presentations now. But so it's simply creating a presentation, just like what you would do if you were a teacher in the classroom or you're presenting and teaching something maybe at your workplace. So it is really that simple. It's not as difficult as people may think it is. So you're creating your presentation, and then in the next step, we'll talk about what to do with it, but you're also creating your supplemental materials. So let's just say that in lesson 2, you decided that you also needed a workbook to go along with that lesson. So you'll want to go ahead and create it in this step. Canva, and I don't know, Barbara, what you use, but I use Canva to create all the course lessons and all the supplemental material, whether it's a workbook, a cheat sheet, an ebook, a checklist, any of those type of resources. I use Canva to do that.
Yeah, and I'm glad you mentioned that because Canva is one of the things I teach on, where what I do in my business is teach people how to do different parts of business, right? So if you're trying to figure out how to use Canva, I have tutorial videos on my YouTube channel. But Canva, I started using at first. I was a little like, I don't know, because I'm a Photoshop girl, you know, as a graphic designer, I'm like, I use Photoshop. But then when I would try to teach people who weren't graphic designers how to use Photoshop, or ask my team to do things in Photoshop who had no experience in it, it became more stressful on everybody than helpful. So then I finally gave in and said, yeah, you know what? Canva can't do everything that Photoshop can, but it can get you through if you're not trying to be a graphic designer, right? So if you just,
and I think that's most of us out there, including me.
Yes. And so Canva is awesome. And in fact, my assistant Amber has been using it for some of the stuff she's been doing. That graphic that she put out there yesterday, that was created on Canva. And I think she did a fantastic job on it. By the way, that's one of the first things she created on her own in Canva. So she's learning and loving it. But it can sometimes be a struggle, but I do recommend using Canva for sure. And if you've never heard of it or you'd like to learn how to use it, you can learn that on my YouTube channel, which is Fuse Empire. Okay, so creating your teaching material, you talked about all the different things that might be included in teaching material. Is there anything else on that step?
No, I think we're ready to go to the next step, which is basically recording all of the materials and uploading it to the online course platform. So recording the material. So a lot of people get stuck in this step, and it is really, really super simple. You can simply just do a screenshot of your presentation. So let's just say that you're using PowerPoint, or maybe you're using Google Slide, and you can use a system like Zoom, basically do a screenshot of that, or share your screen, I should say, and record it. And just record that particular presentation. And once you're done and you close Zoom, it's going to give you those recordings and you can upload them to your online course platform. I also like using Canva to record the lessons. And the reason why I like to use Canva is because there's a place in Canva in the presentation slides in Canva where you can put your speaker notes. So what I do, I have my speaker notes up on my screen and it's recording my slide. So it's not recording the speaker notes. It's just recording my slide. Presentation slide in Canva. I can look and, basically I have my speaker notes right there. And it's like I have a teleprompter in front of me. It is so, so simple.
That is really cool. I did not know that part.
Yes.
I look forward to figuring that out.
It's so, so simple. So once you're done with all of that, you have your online course lessons. It is that easy to create an online course. So what you'll do, you have all the videos, you've downloaded any workbooks, you've created all your workbooks, you have all of that. And it's time to upload them into your online course platform. There are a ton of options out there for you for an online course platform. And quite frankly, the market is very, very saturated. So I would want you to do your research. I'm going to give you some options that you really can't go wrong with, but I definitely want you to do your research to find out what would be the best option for you. The one I use, Kajabi. Now, Kajabi is a little bit pricey. So if you're a little bit more budget conscious, you might want to look into some of the other platforms like Podia. I have clients that use Podia. I set up an online course for a client about a month or two ago in Podia, and we've had it actually looks great, and we've had no problems with it whatsoever. It's definitely, Podia is a little bit more on the cheaper side. Teachable is another great option for an online course platform. I know there's tons of online course creators that use Teachable. Thinkific is a great option too. If you're just getting started and you want to test out some options there, they actually have a free plan that I know a lot of online course creators start with. So there's all of those are really good options if you want to kind of dip your toes in it and start researching it. And like I said, there's tons of vendors out there that you can look at and analyze.
That's awesome. Thank you for sharing some of those resources, because I know when I was creating my online courses, that was one of the hardest decisions, is which platform do you use? And I think it's a great idea to try to make a commitment to the platform after you do your research. Once you choose a platform, try to be committed to it as long as you can, because otherwise taking all your stuff off of one platform and moving it to another one, I could imagine would be a headache. And I've moved several times, just for different reasons, needing different capabilities and stuff like that. And I recently just purchased FreshMember. I've not used it yet. That's one of my goals for this coming month, and to get that started. But as I do use it, I will let you guys know what I think of it.
And definitely let me know too. I want to know about that one. That's I don't have any experience in that one. That's, like I said, there's so many vendors out there. It's impossible for you to know about all of them.
Yeah. And one of the things that appealed most to me about FreshMember, I got it on like Black Friday, right? Where they were like doing all kinds of sales. And the sale they offered was you could buy this for a one-time fee and never pay a monthly or yearly fee. And I was like, okay, I'm down for that. I like just buying things once and not having to keep pay for them. I mean, I know that there's a market out there for it. That's one of the ways I have profit as well. And there are lots of things I pay for subscriptions for. But the more things I could pay a one-time fee for and then forget the subscription, the better.
And to your point, Barbara, I don't know where you got that, but AppSumo has, deals like that. I don't know what they have out there right this second, as we're doing this live here, but AppSumo, I know that people have gone on AppSumo and they've gotten a similar type of deal to what you just described.
Yeah, I agree. I love AppSumo. It actually might have come from AppSumo because I do buy a lot of things off of there. Yeah. My team is probably like, when they see things come through, they're like, oh man, Barbara's got another resource for us. But yeah, so I just put that up there for you. AppSumo, if anybody's wondering what that is. Basically, you could get great stuff for inexpensive prices. And a lot of times you could pay a one-time payment and have it for life. So, all right, perfect. So we've gone through all 5 of the steps. And you know what? I have a confession to make for the last one. Destini, you mentioned that the recording videos seems to be where a lot of people get stuck. And
Yeah.
I tell you, I confess that's where I got stuck. I don't know why I was stuck there for so long. Like, I made videos for a lot of things, but when it came to making videos for my course, I would freeze up. And it was like, it's not that I wasn't confident in it. I had all the resources. I had everything figured out. I had my outline, my audience. Like, I had everything, except every time I would go to make videos, I would come up with an excuse to why I couldn't. Oh, my hair doesn't look good today. Just silly excuses. And it did hold me up for far too long. So I encourage you, if that's the boat you're in, just get over it and move forward.
And you're not alone in that. And a couple of points that I would just make, or, things that I've either worked with clients on or done them myself, quite frankly, because I can relate to what you're saying there. Like, my hair, I don't look good today. My hair doesn't look good. Just record them without the video. I mean, without the, I didn't mean the video. I meant without the, the visual of you on the screen, because I hate looking at myself on the screen too. But just, it's better, I think, to get it done than to kind of sit on it. And I don't want this to be what holds people up, because your students aren't going to care, quite frankly, what you look like. They're not going to care. People worry about, I got to get this video perfect. Nope. They don't care. Yeah. Even if you make a mistake in that video, you don't have to edit. They don't care. You do want the audio to sound good, right? You want them to be able to understand you, but, and you don't want to ramble and do that. So you want to make sure that you're giving them, clear direction and information, but I wouldn't even worry about mistakes, quite frankly.
Awesome. Thank you for sharing that, Destini. And if anybody's wondering which course I'm currently working on, I'm working on my time management course right now. So if that's something that you're like, hey, I need that, make sure that you let me know so I can put you on the list of people to try it out before it launches. We do have a question in the chat, Destini. This one says, I don't know who the actual name is here. If you're somebody who I know, put your name in here. And even if I don't know you, give me your name, just chat your name. But the question here is there any platform that you say just absolutely don't use, or are they all like, are they kind of like cell phone companies where they're all pretty much comparable to each other?
I would say that I don't know of any that I would say absolutely don't use. I would definitely do your research. You don't want to get a fly-by-night company, right? That's not going to be here in 2 years. So make sure that they've been around for a while. There's enough vendors out there that you should be able to find somebody who's stable and not just launched in this past year. Those I would definitely stay away from, because I think you have a lot of other options out there. You want somebody who's going to be here for the long term. You also want a vendor who is investing in their platform. So I would ask if it's somebody that, if it's one of the ones that we haven't talked about today, you might even want to do a little bit more digging, find out what the roadmap is. Just make sure that they're investing in their company, in their platform, and they're not just a fly-by-night type firm.
That's great advice, Destini. Thank you so much. I believe she answered the question great, but if there's more follow-up to that, feel free to post in the comments. And so we're going to move on to another segment that is a little bit of fun to get to know Destini on a personal note. But while we're doing that, keep in mind that you can still ask questions, and remember that she knows more than just online courses. Anything marketing related, including sales funnels, lead magnets, Facebook and Instagram ads. Any questions you have there, feel free to ask in the comments, and we'll go back to comments after this little segment. Now, this segment, as many of you know, I am still looking for a name for. So if you'd like to win $50 cash, give me a name for this segment. I want to have a cool title that every time we do this segment, it's similar to a this or that kind of experience, but I don't want to call it this or that because that's lame. I want it to be something unique to me. And so if you are the one who chooses the name that we use, for this segment, you will win $50 cash. So you need to put that comment in YouTube. You cannot post this on any of the other social media channels because I'm only looking on YouTube. I'm a busy woman. So if you want to be part of the entry, you need to put your comment in the YouTube video comments and it will be counted as an entry. If you put it somewhere else, I won't see it. All right. So going forward then, Destini, I'm going to give you 2 choices and you are going to share with us which one you choose and why, and we'll see where that goes. And those of you who are watching, when I give the choices, feel free to put your response to that question in the chat so that you can be part of the participation and get to know each other a little bit better as well. All right, Destini, question 1, library or museum?
Oh, library, hands down.
Why is that?
I love books. I literally probably have over 4,000 books, either hard books. Some of them you might be able, you can't see very many in the video here, either throughout my house, like hard copy books or digital, like ebook type stuff. Love books. I read all the time.
I am the same, Destini. I love books. At one point, I had 9 bookshelves full of stuff throughout my whole house. We had books in our bedroom, in the dining room, in my office. Like, there were bookshelves everywhere. In fact, my kids would tease me, like, everyone's going to walk in here and think we're a bunch of nerds. And I'm like, I am a big nerd. But the kids didn't want to be known as nerds. Since then, I've given a lot away to give away Goodwill and stuff like that. But I'm down to 3 bookshelves. One of them's behind me, and 2 of them is in the main floor of the house. But I love books too. And I just tried my first audiobook, and I did not love it. So
I couldn't get into audiobooks either. I love podcasts, but audiobooks, I don't know. I don't know.
Yeah, it was just the audiobook I tried is a book that I have read before. So then when I heard it read by someone else, it wasn't the same as what I envisioned in my own mind. And I was like, I don't think I like that. I like it the way I pictured it.
Yeah, that's interesting.
Okay, so moving on. Question 2. Do you prefer online shopping or shopping in a store?
Online shopping. I don't shop at stores anymore, and even before COVID happened, I wasn't shopping at stores. I don't go to the grocery store. I get my groceries delivered. I get everything delivered. I haven't been shopping in a store in I don't know how long.
Same for me. I say the best thing that happened with COVID-19 is that I learned about online shopping, because before that I was kind of like oblivious to it, but now I use Amazon and Instacart and HelloFresh, and everything I need just gets delivered to me. The kids would be like, we need peanut butter, and I'm like, put it on the Instacart order. I'm not going to get it.
It saves you so much time, and you have kids, I have kids, and I work, obviously, and I don't have time to drive out to the grocery store, spend an hour there, drive home. It's just I hate that.
Yeah. All right, let's get to the third question. Music or podcast?
Definitely podcast. I listen to podcasts all the time in my car. My kids are like, "No, Mom, not another podcast." I love podcasts. I listen to a lot of them.
Do you have any favorites?
I love the Get Paid podcast, but it's probably my favorite. The Get Paid podcast that 𝗗𝗘𝗦𝗧 does, where she talks and interviews like online entrepreneurs. A lot of them are course creators. And the reason why I like that particular one is because she gets into the details about the money. I think a lot of people aren't as forthcoming, or they make you want to think that they're, making millions and millions and millions of dollars. But she really gets into the details about the revenue, but also the expenses, which I think is, just as an important part of the equation there when you really dig in and look under the hood about what's going on. And I just think it's just a very honest and forthcoming podcast, and that's why I like it so much.
Yeah, I agree. The expenses being just as important as the revenue. And it took me a long time to realize that as a business owner, but a decade into it, I was like, maybe I should know what those are too.
Yeah.
But so as you know, those of you who are watching or listening to this is actually a podcast. Even the visual, even if you're watching on video, this is a podcast. It gets translated into audio or converted into audio afterwards, and it goes on all the major podcast platforms. So wherever you like listening to your podcast, you can find us by the name Barbara Talks Business. And using that same line of thought, I want to actually ask Destini to share with us about her podcast, because she has a great one out there too.
Yes. Oh, thank you so much. And I am host of the Course Creators MBA podcast, and where I go into actionable tips for people who are either wanting to create an online course or have an online course. We're in the middle right now of our Course Creator series. And what I'm doing, I'm interviewing course creators just like Barbara here. And we're really digging into their business, their journey, why they got into online courses, kind of what made their, what kind of the rationale behind their decision there, why they started going down that path. And then we dig into the financials parts of it. So that's been very interesting discussions. I've really enjoyed the interviews I've already done and the future ones that I have on the books. So I think you guys would really enjoy those interviews with those course creators.
I agree. And Destini, ever since you and I have been connected, I have been listening to your podcast as well. And you have some awesome topics on there. So I would recommend you guys, if you are a podcast listener, make sure that you look for the Course Creators MBA podcast. Now, Destini, does MBA stand for MBA like the degree, or what?
Like the degree? Yeah. So what you might not know about me, I'm also a college marketing professor. I teach strategic marketing in our MBA program. I also work with doctoral students. So that's kind of, that's part of what I do from a college professor. And that's the reason why I chose it for the name. So yes.
Awesome. All right, Destini, give us your contact information so that if someone still has questions that they have not put in the chat, they know how to find you or reach you.
Okay. Yeah. The best way to reach me is just my website, which is DestiniCopp.com. If you want to DM me, the best place to DM me to ask a question is on Instagram. And, I'm just at Destini Copp. So very simple there. And I'm happy to answer any questions that you have about online courses or just marketing in general. So feel free to DM me.
Perfect. And then, Destini, I know that you also mentioned that on your website, you have free access to online courses and resources, right?
Yeah, a ton of resources on my website. It's on the main page of my website. If you just go there, just kind of pick what you're interested in, and you can go from there.
All right. And before we jump off of here, let me ask one more time. Those of you who are listening live, do you have any questions? Put them in the chat. This is your last chance. And Destini, is there anything that we have not discussed that you want to make sure that people know before we say goodbye?
The only thing that I would say is, if you're interested in creating an online course or adding that to your portfolio, my suggestion is to just get started. Get started with the mini course. It's going to be super easy to create. Don't let the creation part get you down. We walked through the steps today, and it is really that simple. And I know that Barbara has a ton of resources in what she does too. But it is really that simple, just to create your outline, create your video. You can talk to your audience, figure out how you can help them, because that's also very important there, and just get started. And once you get started with that first step, you can build upon it as you get further along in your business.
And Destini, if somebody goes through these 5 steps that you shared with us and they still feel like they're stuck, do you offer some kind of coaching or training for that?
So in all of my programs, I actually do it directly in my classroom, because I'm a college professor and that's how I'm used to teaching. Is if anybody ever gets stuck, they can ask questions directly in our classroom, and I always answer them. I love it when people ask me questions. I think because that tells me that they're actually doing the work when they're asking questions. So when my college students come to me and they ask me a question, they send me a text or ask a question in the classroom, that just tells me that they're willing to do the work and they're making progress. When you're not when you're not asking questions, you know, when you're not asking questions, that just, you know, that makes me wonder if you're actually doing the work. So ask the questions. That's how I'll communicate with my students, and I'm happy to answer any questions that you have.
Awesome. Thank you. And I do want to mention that if those of you who might be listening to the podcast while you're out and about and you're like, hey, I didn't catch that website, we are going to put all of the links in the description of this video or audio. So when it's safe to do so, not while you're driving, you can go and click on Destiny's website or her social media links. We'll make sure that we get all that information in the description for you. So it doesn't look like there are any other questions here. And this has been fantastic talking with you, Destini. I know that courses is something that it took me too long to do. And I know that I have some friends out there who should be doing online courses and they're not yet. Hopefully after watching this video, they will feel encouraged and empowered to do so. But thank you so much for being here and sharing your expertise.
Thanks for having me, Barbara. I've really enjoyed our conversation today.
Thank you. You have a great day.
Thank you.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.